Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so humbled to be here, really.
All the way from the UK.
Oh, thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Mr. T.
I am honored and I'm humbled, and I want to say I'm not worthy, but thank y'all for supporting me. Thank you for coming to see me. We love you. As I tell everybody, as an actor, I try to do two things. I try to entertain and try to get a message across, and even though I play a tough guy, deep inside I'm an old-fashioned, tough mama's boy. So thank y'all for me, please. Yes. Wow.
And look at this outfit. How incredible. Look at me.
Because I'm patriotic,
I love it. Well,
I'm
the Scottish flag isn't as colourful, sadly, or it would have
but it's
come.
still good people there.
Yes. We were just talking about how you'd been to London before and
Right.
Liverpool.
Yes.
And why were you there? Were you working?
Well, I did the pantomime at the Improv Theater. Yes, I did the stage. I was playing the genie.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Oh my God, I wish I'd seen that.
Yes.
Is this your first convention?
This is my first convention, and I'm looking forward to a long, beautiful relationship with the people. So this is a trial run for me. So I'm on my best behavior. I want to do good, and I'm reminded what my mother always told me, said, son, you be on your best behavior. So I'm gonna be on my best behavior.
We love you, Mr. T!
Thank y'all. Y'all really don't know, this is not a Hollywood reaction from me. This is sincerely. I am so honored that you come out to see me. I mean, as I tell everybody, I'm just a humble kid from the south side of Chicago who had an opportunity and I took advantage of it, I never dreamed of acting. Here's who I am in a nutshell, so you can know where I'm coming from. I have 7 brothers and 4 sisters. My father is a minister. My mother used to be a maid. She was a scrub woman. When I was 9 years old, growing up on the south side of Chicago on welfare and food stamps, I showed my mother a picture. I said, Mama, one of these days, I'm gonna be big and strong. I'm gonna be a football player and a boxer. I said, I'm gonna buy you a beautiful house, Mama, and I'm gonna buy you pretty dresses. I never dreamed of being in the movies. We was on welfare, food stamps. I was the captain of the football team in high school and a champion wrestler in Chicago. But before I went to school, my mother would knock on the neighbor's door to borrow a quarter and 50 cents. That's how poor we were, And from that's why I'm so charitable now. I do events, I make money, and I give it back to the less fortunate, because that's where I come from. So that's my story, And my mother always would tell me, whatever I do, she said, son, don't forget to pray, and don't forget the less fortunate. So that's who I am. I act tough. Hey, fool, I'm gonna get you. That's an act, so but deep inside. So I just want to give you a background of who I am, I am honored that you make a big thing of me, but I tell everybody, my union card says actor. I'm not really a celebrity. I'm not really an icon and all that, I try to be personable. I want you to know that you can meet me in the supermarket, at the car wash. I don't travel with a big entourage, keep fans away. I want fans to come to me, to love on them and tell me their stories. Some you say, Mr. T, I dressed up like you for Halloween when I was a kid. Or you came to my school, and sometimes I meet people say, Mr. T, when I was sick, you came to the hospital to visit me. That's who I am, so I just want to give you that. So let's go. So I'm ready to answer questions and all that. I don't know, I haven't seen the questions yet, so there's no phony stuff going on, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna be truthful with you. I hope there's some tough questions. Now I hope there's not no questions about science. Like, Mr. T, how far is the Earth feels from the moon? I don't know. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say I don't know. You know, I'm gonna tell you what I do know, and I'm gonna say I don't know that one. You know, so. I'm so silly. I'll tell you, we gonna have fun. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, Mr. T!
Thank you for being here.
Okay, I'm so excited.
I'm excited too.
Yeah.
I grew up watching you on TV. So
Oh wow!
through the 80s, and I was just like, oh my God, like
Wow!
10-year-old me would
Wow.
not believe I'm sitting next to Mr. T.
No, see it. Now tell you something else about me. See all these big events and stuff like that, so you can know who I am to stay humble. See, after this event, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go to my shop. I'm gonna go home, go to my hotel room. My home is have a place in Los Angeles in Chicago. So this evening everything is done. I'm gonna go home, go to my hotel room, and take a shower, wash all the adulation off, so I can stay humble. So I never want to get too big and say, hey man, I'm there, I'm people this and that. That's why I carry my Bible. Not to try to throw something on you. That's who I am. You know, my mother taught me to pray. She taught me to be grateful, taught me to be thankful. So even stuff now, I remember one of the biggest compliments I got one time, a guy wanted to take a picture of me, and to take the picture, I said, thank you for doing it. He said, wow, Mr. T's the only celebrity to say thanks, because next to God, without you, where would I be? So I'm honored. That's why I'm grateful that you showed up to see me. You know, just a guy who critics said wouldn't last. They say I got lucky and rocky and stuff like that, you know. But nobody want to say it was hard work. I had to beat out 1,500 guys for that role. I never acted before. I gotta confess. I did act in school. My teacher used to say, stop acting a clown. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Because you're someone who's got such fire, passion, and motivation.
Yes.
But has there ever been a time when you lost
from Liam from England.
Yes. I never. My faith was tested.
I'm so
I
glad
didn't
to
ever
see you again.
lose
Glad to see
motivation,
you again.
and my
My
faith
friend.
was tested. I'm a believer in God and all that. So some of you might know I'm a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with cancer. I thank God for everything. I was diagnosed with cancer in 1995. And let me tell you the rock. And the cancer is called, of all things, T-cell lymphoma. What kind of stuff is that? So anyway, let me get around, you know. So when the fame started, after Rocky 3, then the A-Team started, you know, we film in different places in Los Angeles. And I'm loving on people, telling the kids to be good, listen to the parents, don't do drugs, don't hang with the wrong crowd. You know, and so I had a big following, the kids. Then one of the production assistants told me, said, Mr. T is a little kid, want to meet you. And I thought they like other kids. I said, okay, bring him to the set. Then she said, but he's dying. And it was through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And here I am, I said, wow, here's a kid that's dying, want to meet me, what can I say? And then I called home, and first they thought that I was like some celebrity. Said, no, tell them I'm busy. You know, and I don't want to get on the celebrities. It's a deep thing. You got to be ready for this here. And I told him, I said, no, bring the kid, bring him to the set. I said, first I have to call home to my pastor. I'm a member of a church. I've been a member there since 1977. Wow. And I called my pastor named Reverend Hardy. I said, Reverend Hardy, there's a kid that's dying. What do I say to him? I asked him for words to say because I wanted to do more than just say, I'm sorry, Billy. You know, I needed the words to say. And my pastor told me, he said, evidently, T, this young man, this kid, see the God qualities in you that you don't see in yourself. I believed in God, I prayed, but I felt I was going to another level, which I were. So the little kid's name was Ryan. He had cystic fibrosis from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he wanted to meet me. He came, and I loved on him and played with him and spent time with him, drove him around in the 18 van, let him feel my jury and touched my mohawk, and he laughed, and we spent about an hour together, and he had this oxygen thing strapped to him so he couldn't be too long. But he was with me for an hour, and his mother said, we got to go, and he said, how can I thank you? I said, I'm honored that he wanted to meet me. And when he left, I cried. Yes, tough Mr. T, black belt in karate, wrestling champion, all that. I cried when the little kid left. Then after that, other kids wanted to see me. And I told them, don't waste the time in red tape. Anytime a little kid wanted to see me, bring him to the set. One day there was 6 little kids there, some in wheelchairs, some in other. They wanted to meet me, and I loved on them. And you can't fool the kids. The parents at the time, you gotta understand, they was a little frightened of this guy, Mr. T. You know, they said, ooh, wow. And the kids would say, no, mommy, Mr. T likes kids, you know. Then the parents would see my interviews and say, maybe a little bit, you know. So, but anyways, the little kids, some kids had cancer. And I would tell them, God love them, don't give up. You know, keep believing. So now we speed up from 1983, 84, we speed up to 1995. I had a sore on my ear that it didn't heal. And then I went to the doctor, we did tests and stuff like that, and did some more tests and all other stuff. Then he came back and told me I had cancer. Then we said it was T-cell lymphoma. So I went through radiation, went through chemotherapy and all that. So what I'm saying, long story short, if I couldn't call on that same God that I told them little kids to believe in, if I couldn't call on that same God I told everybody else to believe in, then that meant that I was a liar and I was a phony. So when I stand here to tell you God love you, to be good and whatever, it's tried and tested. Like when I tell the little kids to be good, listen to their mother. That's what I did. Don't do drugs, don't hang with the wrong crowd. That's what I did. So I prayed, so I tell them prayer works. I said, Lord, I never prayed and said, oh, why me? Why not me? I said, God, give me the strength to do your will. So I'm here to tell everybody else, don't give up, don't quit, whatever you're dealing with. So everybody here, you don't have a sign on your head saying, I'm depressed, I'm going through a situation. You know, everybody's dealing with something. So I asked God, I said, come in here. I prayed this morning. I said, God, I don't know who all we're gonna meet today, but I pray that when they see me, let them see you. When they hear me, let them hear you. Sure, I wanna make you laugh, want you to feel good, but really I want you to feel good after you leave. Say, wow, Mr. T took time with us. I just don't wanna shoot you away. Okay, keep going, and stuff. I wanna take time. Some of you wanna hear some of your stories that, Mr. T, I remember you on this interview, how you talked about God, how they said this here, how you love your mother and stuff. That's who I am, you know. So I can, like Dr. King said, if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer someone with a word or song, if I can show someone that he's traveling wrong, then my living would not be in vain. So that's my story of being diagnosed with cancer. I didn't quit, you know, cancer made me stronger. So God bless you. Bless you.
Thank you for sharing,
Yes.
Mr. T.
Yes.
I wanted to pivot slightly and talk about your famous catchphrase. Can't remember it. What is it again?
I'm glad you brought that up. And this is good because people gonna learn. People ask me, say, where did that phrase come from? I pity the fool. So let me tell you, a lot of people don't know this here too. It first showed up in Rocky 3, you know, and I want to tell you about pity. So if you pity somebody, if I pity somebody, actually that's a good thing. Because pity means mercy. And also, pity you'll find in the Bible. Also, you'll find the word fool in the Bible, you know. So, and the reason why I pity, see, it allows me not to hate. I don't want to hate nobody, but I'll pity you. You're not stuck at that fool. God, please pity. You know, so pity is good, you know. So that's where it comes from, you know. See, when we was filming Rocky, and Rocky, you know, want me to, see, the reason why I was so mean in Rocky, he was the director and the actor. So he told me, be mean, Mr. T. So I was acting, you see what I mean? You know, so I'm really not that mean. I act mean for the bullies, because they be waiting on me. I say, what you look at that fool? You know, trying to scare them off. So But like I said, then he told me, he said, all right, we're in the locker room and you're trying to get me mad and stuff like that. What do you say? I'm trying to come back. I said, no, I wouldn't curse. I would say sincere. He said, I pity the fool who try to take what I got. I'll destroy any man. You know, so it's just, you know, macho talk stuff, you know, trying to get in his head. And I'm gonna tell you a little story about my mother in that movie. After I got the movie, that we did a private screening in Chicago. So I brought all my family in. He was in the movie seeing me, and me being a Christian, and my mother, a very religious lady. You know, I was thinking like a kid. I said, wow, my mother might not like it because there's some cursing in there. So, like a kid, I would say, Mother, I didn't curse. Didn't curse. What you did, the scene when curse, remember Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, he was telling them, he said, Rocky, this guy would knock you on your blank blank. And I was gonna say, Mother, I didn't curse, he did it. You know, so at the end of the movie, you know, you want your people say, wow, that was some movie, everybody wanna pet me. And I wanted the reaction from my mother. And I held her coat. I'm gonna show you something. My mother kept me together, you know, because, so I'm gonna demonstrate. So after the movie, I had my mother coat because I wanted her reaction. I was holding it for her, and my mother wouldn't look at me, pretend I'm my mother. So I had a coat to put it on her, and I went to put it on, and she turned. Then she turned again. Then my sister took my mother's coat from me and put it on my mother. And this is what my mother told me. And that's why, like I said, I listened to my mother. She didn't look at me. She said, son, you don't say that to a lady. It was in the movie. I wanted to do y'all know that part, what I said? I was trying to get Rocky to fight me. I was trying to provoke him. So the man, as we talk, if you want a guy to fight you, you say something about his mama or his wife or girlfriend. So, you know, I said, Rocky wouldn't fight me. I said, don't get his chunk, no statue, give him guts, I'm waiting there. So he wouldn't fight me. Then I said, hey woman, I bet you stay up late every night, dreaming you're a real man, don't you? Tell you what, bring your pretty little self to my apartment. I'll show you a real man. That was good in theatrics, but I was glad that my mother told me, and I was glad that I still listened to my mother. See, I could have said, oh, Mom, we're gonna make a lot of money, and I'm gonna buy you that house, Mama, and I'm gonna buy some other stuff. I didn't say it when she said, son, you don't say that to a lady. I humbled myself and said, yes, ma'am. Then she told me, she said, son, there are some things that money just can't buy. Since Rocky, I was offering all kind of crazy, stupid stuff. I said, no, I can't do that. I can't say that. If I'm telling kids in the street don't do drugs, what like me in the drug movie? I said, no, I'll pass on that. And to tell you something else about me, you know, trying to do the right thing, telling kids to be good, listen to their parents and all that. If y'all remember, that's how I got invited to the White House. My mother always told me, whatever you do, whatever you say, wherever you go, somebody's watching, good and the bad. So when I used to tell kids when we were 18, we filming, we would stop and I would tell the kids around the school, I said, be good, listen to the teacher, do your homework, study hard, listen to your mother, and stuff like that. So that was my message. Everywhere I go, tell them that. Now, lo and behold, in 1983, November, the word get to the White House. Nancy Reagan was working on a program, Just Say No. And my message got to her. Wow. And they said, we want to bring Mr. T to the White House. And do you know, nobody believed me. So they called the president of NBC. They said, we want Mr. T at the White House next week. I told everybody, man, the White House called me. They want me there. Man, you ain't going nowhere. I said, man, It was guys on the 18th didn't believe me. Man, what kind of stuff is that? But they believe me now. So anyway, you know, and the funny part about that, I call it funny, you know, when I tell people it's always being good. First they invite me. Then, here's the funny part. When they check my background, you know, because you got to have a security clearance to be to the White House. Some of you might not know what I'm talking about. If you Google Mr. T and Nancy Reagan, you see me at the White House. I was dressed up like Santa Claus. And Nancy Reagan sat on my lap. Wow. And I gave her a Mr. T doll. I had some dolls back then, some of y'all, you know. So they checked my background. Born on the south side of Chicago, they checking it. No police record, no breaking robbery, wow, let's check it again. Mr. T. They said, wow, that's something. Basically, they were saying, how did you grow up on the south side of Chicago, welfare, food stamps, crime over you, under you, and around you? How did you escape? I said, I didn't escape. I love my mother too much. I love my mother too much. I got in fights in school because kids wanted me to go against my mother's teaching. I love my mother because my mother used to scrub floors. She didn't say rob your body. She scrubbed floors so I can go to school. My mother didn't scrub floors so I could be a thug, so I could break in somebody's house. How can I tell my mother I love her? I'm gonna snatch another mother purse. And I'm gonna tell you something. I told you about being a wrestler, football player, and all that. And that's my message to the kids. Don't let somebody call you a bad name and you got to prove that you're not that. Guys called me a sissy. And I was a wrestling champion. I could have ripped their throat out. They called me a sissy. Why? Because I wouldn't steal. Because I wouldn't break in nobody's house. I'm proud I never stole nothing. So I'll be a sissy in they book. They can't get a job because they got a bad record. So that's who I am. Like I said, I'm just an old-fashioned, overgrown, tough mama's boy. I love my mother, you know. So, like I said, tell everybody, through me, you should see part of my mother in me. Mother taught me to be nice and kind. I remember once in LA, I was holding the door for a lady, and she was surprised. She said, wow, Mr. T, you're so nice. Of course I'm nice. I just act tough. So that's my story. Okay. All right. I get so excited. Okay.
I love hearing the stories, Mr.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. Because some people don't know that, you know, so I got to fill you in what makes me what I am. See, this the front I act whatnot, but deep inside, that's who I am, you know.
Well, I've got some fan questions.
Okay, I'm ready. I hope I'm ready.
I've got them pre-selected. They were sent in, so we've got them here. I'm going to start reading them out. So, this is from Tyson in Arlington. How did you first craft that iconic look, the chains, the mohawk, and the attitude? How did you craft that?
Well, I'm going to tell you, and it's good. I want people to know. Now, the gold image, I never wore gold to say I'm richer than somebody else. It was, everything I did was for a reason. I wore 7 earrings and a hairstyle. You know, even though it's not Mohican Indian, I don't want to be disrespectful to the Mohican Indians. But back in the day, in the 70s, I was looking through the National Geographic magazine, and I saw some Africans had a haircut like this here, and they were from the country of Mali. They was called the Dinka Warriors, or some people call them the Mandinkas. I said, wow, that looks sharp. And he had beads and stuff like that. So I started wearing my hair that way because I wanted to be different, you know. And also the earrings, I wore 7 earrings, 3 in my right ear, 4 in my left ear. The 3 were symbolic of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. The 3 wise men, the 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The 3 parts of the day, morning, noon, and night. The 3 graces, faith, hope, and love. The 3 civil rights workers, Cheney, Goodman, and Swerner. Then I wear 4 in my left ear. The 4 is symbolic of the 4 seasons, spring, winter, summer, and fall. the four directions, north, east, south, and west, the four gospel writers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You put the 3 and 4 together, it's 7. It was 7 times that Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho. Samson had 7 locks of hair. There's 7 colors in the rainbow. There's 7 notes or numbers in the musical bars. God made heaven and earth in 6 days. He rested over 7. So that's what the gold represented things, you know. So that's the story behind the gold. And then I stopped wearing the gold. Thank you. I stopped wearing the gold in 2005 when Katrina hit, because I felt it would be insensitive and disrespectful for me to have gold when people lost everything. It'd be like me, look at me, I got this, and people suffering and dying. And my mother told me, son, never grandstand. But I have to tell you, because I want you to know, my church man took in a lot of the people that lost their home in Louisiana, and I gave my gold to my church. Some of it, I said, buy food and clothes for the people. That's why I am.
I wore this for you today.
I know you did. That's a Mr. T starter kit.
Yes. I knew who I was speaking to today, I had to. Mr. T, this is from Nick. In the A-Team, B.A. Baracus was a fan favourite. What part of that character felt most like you, and what part was mostly for television?
Well, good. I'm going to just tell them because I feel a little comfortable.
Go for it.
Yes, all right. Say, what part felt more like me? It's the part that B.A. was no nonsense. He wanted to get the job done, no foolishness. You know, he could. I'll tell you the part that wasn't like me. B.A. could fix anything. My car wouldn't start one day, and I called the repairman. He laughed at me. He said, I thought you could fix it. I said, it's on TV, fool. And, you know, I said, he said, electrical stuff, fix that B.A. Okay, you got it. And at home, I can't do nothing, you know. I said, oh, man. But, you know, in real life, I'm a strong, solid type. I'm always trying to give direction and be good. I'm just a big teddy bear. So that part, you know, B.A., you know, he's a no-nonsense type of guy. And that's who I am. That relates to me. And I'll tell you something else funny. I was flying in yesterday, so I run into some smart LA fans. They said, I thought Mr. T don't fly. I said, B.A. don't fly, fool. I didn't mean to say that. I just said, well. I said, no, B.A. is afraid to fly. Mr. T ain't afraid of nothing. I let them know, but then I had a sandwich. I said, yeah, I gotta eat my sandwich. When I eat my sandwich, I go to sleep. So it felt good, you know. So it was good. We took pictures, had fun. You know, that's what it's all about, you know, so.
I've got a follow-on question from what you said. You said you're not good at fixing anything.
Right.
But do you have any secret skills that you are very good at, like that nobody would know about? Any secret skills?
I don't call them secret. I really don't. You know,
Like, are you good at sewing, crafts, art and crafts? Clearly very good at fashion.
I know. I mean, I blow people's mind when they find out sometimes I'm kind of smart. They don't know that, you know. See, my mother told me it take a smart man to play dumb, you know. See, I let them think I'm not you, man. Then got find out, they said, wow, he was on the honor roll in college. Then I said, you can't believe everything you read. You know, then sometimes they hear me talking. I said, man, you pretty deep. I mean, I like to read, you know, so that's the part I like fooling people, you know, because they thinking I'm just, you know, a little slow and stuff like that, you know. So, then I just, see, another thing that I'm kind of shy, you know, because I really, people don't believe, say, for real, I say, yeah, I laugh and whatnot. Or then sometimes people see me laugh. They didn't know I laugh. They said, wow, you laugh. You don't want. Duh. Man, so I'm
Thanks,
yeah,
Mr. T.
boy, we learned a lot about me today, man. Some of y'all probably didn't know. Like I said, wow, I wonder is he really nice? Yes, I am, you know. It is a thing to tell that I'm nice. When I would go to the hospital a lot, and mothers would ask me to pray for their children. And I remember I go to the hospital and I would call my mother at home. I said, Mother, I broke down today and I started crying. I said, Mother asked me to pray for a baby. She said, son, that don't mean you're a wimp because you cried. She said, Jesus cried. I cried because I felt their pain, I felt their emotion. You know, and my mother explained to me this. She said that mother had to believe that you believed in God. She wouldn't give her baby to you, to anybody to pray for them. So they know that you believe in God. That's why she asked. Then other parents did, you know. So I'm humble by that. That keeps me together, you know, and, you know, keep me level-headed, because that's all I just want to do. I just want to love on people. God has blessed me tremendously. God didn't heal me from cancer so I could make more money, buy more cars, and look at me, you know, that. No. They called me to the hospital. I said, I'll be there. I go, that's who I am, you know. So other stuff is just an act. Like I said, I act tough, you know, for the bullies, you know, because actually I'm a scary cat, you know. I said, you better get out of here. And hope they run. If they don't run, I'm going to run.
Mr. T.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I am loving this. You're loving it as well, right? Mr. T, I'll say this. You're making my job so easy. I'm just, I thank you for that.
My mother always told me to respect their ladies.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I had a question.
Okay.
So you've told us about your faith. We've
Yes.
talked about your catchphrase.
Yes.
You know, everything like that. What is Mr. T like at home? What do you do? What's your routine and daily
At home,
life?
I'm gonna tell you my favorite TV show, The Beverly Hillbillies. I like Jim Crockett, Ellie Mae, and Jet Rowe and whatnot. See, they was super rich. They wasn't just the richest on the block. They was riches in all West Coast. And they were just humble people. And that's what it's about, you know. And so at home I like to watch old westerns, I like to watch stuff and whatnot, you know, and yeah, westerns and yeah.
Are you a homebody? Do you like steak? Do you like beef?
Yes, I do. Because see, I have 2 speeds. I tell everybody. See, I have 2 speeds. On and off. When I'm on, nobody's better. When I'm off, I'm waiting to get back on. I'm gonna bring the energy. I'm pumped. Like when I was coming here, I said, man, I can't wait to get to Fan Expo. I'm excited. I said, they're gonna think I'm on drugs. You know, I said, I'm gonna make sure everybody, I said, I wanna come there. I'm gonna kiss babies, hug grandmas, arm wrestle tough guys. I'm gonna be there. I want everybody to get something out of it. I don't want nobody to leave me say, wow, he was a boy, you know. So I want to lift somebody's spirit. Like I said, that's why my prayer, I said, Lord, I don't know who I'm going to reach today, who I'm going to touch, but somebody's going through something. So Lord, maybe I could give them an inspiring word. So that's what I just want to do, you know. I want you to feel the electricity, feel the energy, you know, and that's what it's about, you know, so, wow.
Mr. T, what brings you joy, Mr. Because you're bringing us joy, but what brings you joy?
No, this is joy. This is humbling. Really it is. I'm going to tell you something. I got this camera crew following me. They want to do a story of my life. You know what I mean? So they were with me the other day in church. So last week, I started filming about a month ago. I blew their mind because I said, you want to know about Mr. T? Let's go to Skid Row. Oh boy, those guys were scared. Oh man. I said, you want to know who I am? This is who I am. So I took them to Skid Row in Los Angeles to a homeless shelter called the Midnight Mission. Because I've been going there for years, loving on the people, you know, telling them don't give up and stuff like that. because that's the place my pastor told me when I came to Los Angeles to film Rocky 3. He said, T, while you out there, find a place that you can minister to. So we wasn't filming, I would go to the homeless shelter. See, I'm not like the other phony celebrity that want to use some homeless person when they did something bad, you know, want to pretend I'm really for the homeless, and they just lying, you know. They're not there when the camera's not there. But I've been going there, believe it or not, for 40 years. 40 years. So that's how I like to spend my time giving back, you know, to the less fortunate, you know, to the forgotten people, you know. So that's my story. That's what makes me what I am. That gives me joy. You know, just like when the guys, they would do other things. They said, let's go golfing, let's go play golf. I said, no, I'd rather go to the children's hospital. I'll just pop in there, lift people's spirit. See, like a lot of time, see, like I'm in Dallas now. See, before the COVID situation happened, I would come to Dallas, then I get checked in at the hotel before my event. I would go to a couple hospitals because the kids or the adults, whoever in the hospital, they are fans and they hear about me coming to town, but they can't see me, they're in the hospitals. So I would go to them. That's who I am, you know. So that gives me joy. I come here, that you thought enough for me to come see me. So at least I'm supposed to have enough that I want to give you some joy, motivate you, inspire you, make you smile or whatever, laugh. Because we have so much angry and hostility going on. So if I can bring you some part of joy, that's what it's all about. I just want to tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, I don't take it lightly that you came out to see me. You know, so I say thank you. My mother, thank you. She be proud. She thank you, son, for doing this here. Thank you all.
Mr. T, I had one last question.
Boy, time flies when you're having fun, don't it? Man, I just feel like I just got here and time to go.
I know, I love when you said I have 2 modes on and off and you stood up straight away like there's the on. And also, I'll say this, your laugh has become one of my favorite things.
Oh, see, it made people laugh because I don't have a tough guy laugh, they say. He laughed like of course, man, I'm happy.
What does a tough guy laugh sound like?
Yeah. And sometimes when people say growl, and see, I give that, it ain't like that, you know, so I'm entertained, I try to make them laugh, you know, and especially because knowing I'm really not that way, you know, so I growl, hey, I'm gonna get you. Boy, yeah.
Mr. T, I have absolutely loved listening to your stories today, and I am honored that you brought so much joy and fun.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
I love that you're promoting kindness as well, because it's a hard world out there.
Yes, yes.
And we need to be kind to one another.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Show some love. Not just say it, but be about it. Just be kind. Thank you. No thank you. This and that. That's who I am. I want people to know that really about me. I try to live that, you know. And that's why, like I said, you know, I carry my Bible. I said, no, don't get bad. Forgive them. Let it go. Because you got to understand, let me stand up like this here. You know, my reputation, some cat, you know, I'll be lying to you if you know, sometimes I wouldn't challenge. Because sometimes people say, hey, Mr. T, I believe I can take you. Then I remember what my mother told me, and this blows their mind. She said, you ain't so tough. And I say, you're right, I'm not tough. What else can we talk about? He have nowhere to go, you know what I mean? You know, because he wanted me to say, I'll knock you out. I said, you're right, I'm not tough. Then he just standing there looking stupid. Then I tell him, I said, a tough guy can't do what I do. I go to the hospitals, I cry. I feed the homeless. I cry. I hug women that's on the sidewalk that's begging for bread, and I cry. Tough guys don't do that. So you're right, I'm not tough. I don't want to be tough. Only time I'm tough, I tell them about kids about being tough. You got to be tough when you got to say no to drugs. Don't get involved in drugs. You know, and I know a lot of people get caught in by accident, but they don't understand. You get addicted the first time. And then nobody grows up to say, wow, I want to be an addict. Everybody say, oh, I can handle it, they ain't gonna get me. Yeah, it do. Then you can't get away from it. So I tell you, don't even start. Let them call you a sissy. Let them call you a square. It's okay. But like the mother said, you got to consider the source. It's like if a guy called me a sissy, called me, telling me, who's saying that? Somebody's jealous that I worked hard and I said no to drugs, that I wanted to be something, that I love my mother, that the love of my mother was more powerful than the games. You know, and I would tell the people, the reason why I respect my mother, I would think about if I did something wrong and wind up in jail. I would think about my mother coming to see me and start crying and saying, son, why did you? I did the best I could with what I had. And right then I was saying, wow, I let my mother down to hang with my so-called buddy. What a bummer. So I didn't want that. My mother's proud of me, not because I made money and all that. My mother's proud of me that I still believe in God. And she said, son, don't forget the less fortunate. That's why she's proud of me. She's not saying, well, look at my son on TV, this and that. My mother's low-key. She's going to heaven now, but she lives in my heart. So I remember what she taught me. Be kind, feed the less fortunate, be considerate, be nice. Hold the doors for the ladies, stuff like that. I don't have to prove how tough I am. You say you're tougher than me? Okay, fine. You know, next, you know. So again, thank y'all so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful words. Thank you for being inspiration for many decades, right up until now, and I really hope that you have a wonderful weekend in Dallas.
Thank you, thank you. Thank y'all.